Good morning, students. Welcome to the virtual classrooms. Till now we studied the three chapters. In the last lecture related to the next topic that I will be going through, I told you that I will be going through organic, but because of the certain technical reasons, we will be studying the fourth chapter itself as chemical kinetics. So in this today's lecture we are going to study chemical kinetics. Right? Now what is this, or what is the link that we are having it? Actually in 11th you studied it, thermodynamics. In the thermodynamics we studied it. Why we wanted to understand that thermodynamics? We wanted to actually understand what is the heat change, whether the reaction will be spontaneous or not, if it is spontaneous, up to what extent. These were the different questions that we were having it in the thermodynamics. In the thermodynamics, while studying it, we saw it that there were the four different laws that were being stated by the different scientists, like zeroth law, first law, second law, third law, in which we saw it that the second law was capable of helping us to get the answer of one of the question, whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. How did we get that answer? So for that case, according to thermodynamics, if delta G is less than 0, reaction is spontaneous. If it was greater than 0, it was non-spontaneous. And if it was equals to, we told that it is in equilibrium. Right? Similarly, from the law of equilibrium constants also, we got it that this was the first factor. The second factor we got it as if k it's less than 1. If k is less than 1, that means we are going to get it as non-spontaneous. Greater than 1, spontaneous. Equals to 1, equilibrium. What was the reason for it? It was been related with dg. We got it the formula minus 2.303 RT log K. Now if this is 1, log 1 will become 0. So whole number will become 0. So you got it delta G 0. So we told that it was equilibrium. If K is equals to greater than 1, that means this is a positive term. If this is positive, the whole answer will remain positive. Whole answer remains positive means overall the answer will become negative, sign remains as it is. So reaction will be having value less than 0. So it will become spontaneous. So like that, by delta G or K, we were able to predict whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. So that was the answer of the first question. At the same time, the limitation of the thermodynamics came out that up to what extent the reaction will be carried out, at what rate the reactant will get converted into product. That was not been answered. That answer is done in the case of thermodynamics. Chemical kinetics. So today, within this chapter, when we are going to study it, what we are going to study? How fast the reaction is going to get converted into product. That means the rate of the reaction that we are going to study in it. Right? But when we are talking about the rate, we are talking about the reactions. Now, before we understand those chemical kinetics or the concepts or the formulas for it, we want to see certain reactions which shows that the rate of the reaction for all the reactions are not always same. Certain reactions, they complete themselves very fast, and certain reaction takes a very long time to complete themselves. For example, if I say it as if I am going it for the titration in the laboratory, as you already performed it, burette, pipette, color change. Immediately within a fraction of time that change is there. So those reactions are considered to be as a very fast reactions. Right? But in place of that, if I say that corrosion of metal, iron, rusting of iron, it takes a long time, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, depending upon the conditions that have been there, then such reactions are considered to be as a very slow reactions. But in place of that, neither very fast, neither very slow, in between, within a day or two, if the reaction is completed, like formation of curd from the milk, it does not take place immediately, it does not take very long time, within a day or two the reaction is completed, then such reactions are considered to be as a average rate or moderate reactions. We term them as moderate reactions. So neither very fast, neither very slow. So rate of reactions, they differ. Another examples. Now these were about the rate of the reaction as a fast, slow or moderate. Let's think it about something different, like other factors which affects the rate of reaction. Like if I take it as a solid charcoal, I want to burn it, and I am taking it as an petrol, that is a liquid component, and burning it. Both of them are fuel. Which one will catch fire very easily? Obviously, petrol. Reason? It's a liquid. Intermolecular distances are less, more. Forces of attractions are less. So they go for reaction much faster. In place of that, if the gaseous components are taken, they are going it even faster. So that means size of the particle, it's also going to be important. State of the particles or the gases or the components, they are also going to be important, right? Concentration, temperature, pressure, catalyst, these are the different factors which affects the rate of reaction. Now let's see how the concentration affects. See, I will take your routine example. If you have been having it as an summer season and you have been told that you have to stand in the ground for an hour without moving from your position, is it possible? No. Concentration, too high concentration of sunlight, right? Same thing is asked to you at the same time, but the season is winter season and you have been told that you have to stand. Sir, no problem. So that means at that time the concentration of the sunlight is less, so reaction rate decreases, right? So what does it shows? For any given chemical reactions, if concentration increases, rate of reaction increases, right? Fine. For the second factor, another factor, that is temperature. The temperature depends on whether my given reaction is endothermic or exothermic. If it is an endothermic, increase in temperature increases the rate of reaction, whereas for the exothermic, increase in temperature decreases the rate of reaction. Pressure, it's only effective for the gaseous component. If the gaseous component is present and the pressure is increased, rate of reaction increases, right? So it depends. The factors are there which affects the rate of reaction. So how to calculate this rate of reaction for any chemical reaction? If we are calculating it as a rate of reaction, how to calculate the rate of reaction? So it is told us that whenever you are going it for any kind of a chemical reaction, you are having it as a reactant with maximum concentration. Right? And this reactant has to be converted into product with time. Right? So if I say that this is the reactant at maximum concentration, as the time proceeds, what will happen? The rate of reaction will decrease with respect to the time. Right? So what does it shows? The graph shows that there is a concentration of the reactant is decreasing. Now I want to write the concentration of reactant to be decreased. So what will you get it? R average, I'm going it for average rate, we get it as delta R by delta T with negative sign. This negative sign is indicating what? Decrease in reactant concentration, right? Okay. Similarly, if I want to plot it for product, when the reaction starts, the product is minimum. As the time proceeds, the concentration of the product keep on increasing. So we are going to get the graph like this. So this shows that concentration increases with time. So at that time what will happen? Average of the product will be written as delta P by delta T. Now this is average values that are indicated. That means the rate can be measured as an average once the reaction is started and completed, whatever the duration is there, that be calculated. In place of that, you can also get it as an instantaneous. Now when we want to plot the get the instantaneous, you have to plot a tangent and get a slope. Here we are going to get it as negative slope. So minus sign, d of R by dt. It is indicated as minus d of R by dt. Here if I put it, my slope is going to be positive. So R instantaneous will be written as d of P by dt. So that means for any given reaction, if I want to write it generalized A to B, then what will be the R average? Will be indicated as minus delta A by delta T or delta B by delta T. Whereas if I want to write it as R instantaneous, we will write it as minus d of A by dt, that is equals to minus d of B by dt. So average we get like this, instantaneous is represented in this format. So these are the different factors in which the rate of reaction can be indicated. Now what are the units that we will be indicating for them? So from the formula itself, you can see that when I want to go it for the rate of reaction, what is the unit I am going to get it? This is measured in the terms of mole per liter. It's a concentration. So that means R average, you are going to say it as concentration per time. That is mole per liter upon second. That will be the unit of the rate of reaction, right? So make it sure that you remember the unit also for the rate of reaction, right? Now let's see it, how to write it or how to represent the rate of reaction under the different formats. So we'll write it as a rate of reaction for one or two different equations, right? Okay. Now Br2, BrO3 minus, Br minus, H2O. Now if the reaction is given to me and I am being asked, write the rate of the reaction, can I write it straight away? No. It's a necessary that first of all these reactions should be balanced. Whenever you want to write the rate of reaction, the very first factor, that is, you should have balanced chemical reaction. So first of all you will have to balance the rate of reaction. If I go for the balancing it, I can say that 6, 3, I will be having it as an over here 3H2O, 5Br minus. You can see that the rate of the reaction is balanced, right? Once I get the balanced rate of reaction, the second factor that I have to remember, that is, if I am having it as in water for any given reaction, as a reactant or as a product, it never plays an important role, because the concentration of the water during the reaction is so high that the change in its concentration is almost neglected. We consider that its value is almost same, and therefore we never write the rate of reaction with respect to water. Right? So in this reaction also, you are having it as a product, maybe in the form of reactant, maybe in the form of product. We never write for it. Right? Okay. Third factor, whenever you are showing the rate of reaction for the reactants, they will be always negative. When you are showing it for the product, they will be always shown as a positive. Right? So let's see it. What is the rate for this component? Now rate is equals to minus delta of OH minus by delta T with respect to OH. Now if I write it as rate with respect to Br2, now seeing these two, can I say that both of them are same? No. When these 6 molecules are used, only 3 molecules are being used for the Br2. So if I write this, then they are wrong. So if I want to show it, the rates are same, then what I will do it is, then number of moles, the stoichiometric coefficient should be represented in the reciprocal format. That means 1 by 6 or 1 by 3. Then I can say that now these two rates are same. That means can I write it as rate is equals to minus 1 by 6 delta of OH minus by delta T, or minus 1 by 3 delta Br 2 by delta T. Before that, if I would have not written this in the reciprocal format, then this equal to sign cannot be placed between these two, though they are the reactants. Similarly, for the products, when you are going it for the product, the rate, we will be showing it positive, delta BrO3 minus by delta T. For Br minus, delta Br minus by delta T. Again, they cannot be shown with a equal to sign, right? Neither them, between them, neither even between the reactant and product. It's again same condition. Here it's a 1 by 1, so no need to write it, but this one will become 1 by 5. So we will be getting it as equals to D of BrO3 minus by delta T, that is equals to 1 by 5 delta Br minus by delta T. Right? So this is the rate that is represented. This is considered to be as a rate. So what I told you, again let's repeat it. What are the necessary conditions while writing the rate of the reaction? Very first condition, reaction should be balanced. Balanced reaction. Second condition, water may be in the form of reactant or product, it's considered to be as a constant and therefore it's never represented as a rate. Third, whenever you are showing it as a reactant, reactant are shown with a negative sign because concentration of the reactant during the reaction decreases with respect to time. Product will be always shown with a positive sign. Products are always with a plus sign because their concentration increases with respect to time. Fourth factor is, when I want to write the rate, their stoichiometric coefficients should be in the form of reciprocal format. 6 moles, so 1 by 6, 3 moles, minus 1 by 3. So they should be indicated in a reciprocal. Then only the rate of the reaction can be equalized. Or you can say that each and every reactant and product are going it with equal rates if you are writing their reciprocals in them. Right? Otherwise, they are going it with different rates. reaction shows me that they are going it with different rates. But when I'm writing it in the form of represented as a rate of reaction with reciprocal, we can say that they are with an equal rates, right? Okay, but at the same time, the second question arises for us now, that on what factor does this rate of reaction depends? So we already saw it that there are the number of factors that affects the rate of the reaction, but the main factor that is on which the rate of the reaction depends, and that is concentration of the reactant. If the concentration of reactant is high, rate of reaction is fast. If the concentration of the reactant is low, rate of reaction is slow. So it depends upon the concentration of the reactant. Now whether these reactions are in the forward or reverse reaction or equilibrium is established, the statement says that the rate of reaction always depends upon the concentration of the reactant, right? So let's see it, how it happens, or how this rate is affecting to the it. So for that case, what we told, it depends only on the reactant. So what we will be getting it, the rate that is directly proportional to concentration of reactant. It's only proportional to reactant, right? But at the same time I wrote it here exponential factors as an x and y, right? So before we understand those external factors or what is it, we'll discuss it in our next lecture, right? For today, at least what is the rate? So we get it as, now for the given reaction, we get it as rate is equals to minus 1 by 6 delta OH minus by delta T minus 1 by 3 delta Br2 by delta T Br3 minus 1 by 5 Br minus, that is equals to K. Now I wrote it K because I removed the proportionality sign. OH minus raised to X, Br2 raised to Y, right? So this is the rate. Now this term K, X and Y, at present we are not bothering for it. We will discuss it, those three factors, in our next lecture. But it is necessary that they should be compulsory written. One is considered to be as a rate constant and order of reaction, but those terms we'll discuss it in our next lecture. This is what we wrote it for one reaction. Let's write it for the another reaction. Let's see some another reaction. I'm having it as in suppose N2 H2 NH3, right? So first condition, balance it, N2 plus 3H2 2NH3. Second condition, water not present, so no problem. Third condition, reactant should be negative, so rate will be written as N2 is reactant, so minus d of N2 by dt. I'm this time writing it as an instantaneous rate of reaction, right? Previously I wrote it as average. Average was indicated by delta sign. Instantaneous is indicated by d sign. It's a one and the same. This is at respective time, and that was at average time. Minus 1 by 3 d of H2. This square bracket is compulsory, huh? By dt. That is equals to 1 by 2 d of NH3 by dt. See, for reactant, both of them are with a negative sign. Fourth factor already implemented. Number of stoichiometric coefficient is taken in reciprocal format. For product, positive sign, and it's also number of moles are taken in reciprocal. That is equals to K N2 raised to X H2 raised to y. Okay, so this is the method to write the rate of reaction or to represent the rate of reaction. Okay, is it clear? Okay, that's for the today's lecture. Further, what is K, what is X, what is Y, how to calculate them, or what are they, we'll understand it in our next lecture. That's enough for today. Thank you.